Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Daily Crow. I'm Chris Phillips of the Spurs Up Show, coming to you live. Very, very excited to talk some Gamecocks baseball with you guys as South Carolina begins the SEC tournament, taking on the LSU Tigers tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, or so we hope. If you guys keep with the SEC tournament year after year, you know these first pitch starting times can be kind of crazy, but tentatively set for 9 p.m. Eastern. Very, very excited. Before I get into everything, this is a broadcast presented to you by our friends over at SeatGeek. Talk about them a lot. SeatGeek, the best ticket buying app by far, the only ticket buying app I use and the only one I would recommend. Be sure to go download SeatGeek. Use the promo code SPURSUP to save $10 off your first purchase, whether you're getting games of the SEC tournament tomorrow night, NFL, NHL, NBA, really doesn't matter. Concerts, comedy club events, doesn't have to be sports. Anything and everything you need tickets to, SeatGeek's got it. So again, go download SeatGeek, use the promo code SPURSUP, save $10 off of your first purchase. And hey, if you don't want to get anything right now, go ahead and download SeatGeek. Have that promo code on deck because we know football season is quickly approaching. All right, like I said, South Carolina begins their run in Hoover, or tries to begin their magical run in Hoover. South Carolina taking on the LSU Tigers, and actually what is a rematch of last year's game. A lot of people will probably remember last year's game, most notably for LSU's pitcher getting a pinch hit home run or pinch hit base hit, if you will. But anyways, Gamecocks taking on LSU tomorrow night, 9 p.m. LSU comes in this one. They finished their regular season 34-22 overall, 17-13 overall in the SEC. Let's get straight into it. As far as pitching are concerned, the pitching matchups were announced today. Mark Kingston announcing that LSU's going to throw right-handed pitcher Cole Henry. Cole Henry 4-2 with a 3.26 ERA on the year. He's going to get the start for LSU. It's already been announced he's only going to go 3 or so innings. South Carolina and LSU both in similar predicaments with their pitching staff. So LSU going to obviously be depending on their bullpen a lot. LSU comes in, they finish the regular season with a 4.76 team ERA. So, you know, the biggest takeaway for me is while they do have quality depth in the bullpen, no doubt. They've got guys that have been there, done that. They've got quality depth in the bullpen. But they're certainly not unhittable. I mean, a 4.76 team ERA bodes well for South Carolina and what they're going to try to do, and obviously scoring runs. As far as hitting's concerned, LSU's got some real studs in their lineup, no doubt. They're hitting 271 as a team, 56 homers, 83 doubles on the season. Players to watch for them, Josh Smith, the first guy you got to talk about, hitting 341 on the year, 7 homers, 34 RBIs on the season. He's the team leader in batting average for the LSU Tigers. Also, you've got to mention Antoine Duplantis was a guy that everyone was talking about before the season started. Is a real stud in their lineup, hitting 318, 11 homers, 58 RBIs. Just a real playmaker, a guy that's going to make it happen for LSU. And then Daniel Cabrera, 12 homers, 47 RBIs, actually leads their team in home runs on the season. So LSU definitely got some guys that can swing the bat themselves, and they've got the pitching to complement it as well. One of the big key stats I saw for LSU, and a big key stat for South Carolina, the key number is 6. LSU is, and this may seem like a very obvious statement, but LSU, once you get 6 or more runs on LSU, they have been very, very, very bad this year as far as their win-loss record is concerned. So definitely something to keep an eye on for South Carolina. If they can break out early, I think it's going to be important. It's going to be a big key, I think, in this game. Let's do a little who's hot, who's not, getting into South Carolina, who's not. Got to say Brett Carey, overall for his performance on Saturday, 6 1/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned. 3 walks and 4 Ks, and oh, by the way, named today to All-SEC freshman team by the coaches. I think a very well-deserved honor. He had a fantastic season for South Carolina. I mean, who knows where South Carolina baseball in 2019 would be right now. We know it obviously wasn't a great year, but it could have been a lot worse without Brett Carey on the mound for South Carolina. Very pleasant surprise for the Gamecocks. Who's not? Chris Cullen, 2 for 11 over the past weekend. I know a senior that's been pretty good this year, but he struggled over the weekend against, I mean, let's face it, what was a very, very good Mississippi State pitching staff. All right, so getting in the game, what to watch for me. Does South Carolina not only have enough pitching to make a run past this game, do they have enough pitching to beat LSU tomorrow night? I mean, I talked about earlier how both these teams are in very similar situations. Gamecocks are going to throw Cam Tringali tomorrow night, who I thought South Carolina would throw. I mean, listen, you've thrown Danny Lloyd in the midweek, started him in those games, but I figured they want to go with somebody from the weekend rotation. Cam Tringali, your most fresh guy, he threw on Thursday against Mississippi State. Tringali will be on a pitch count, so you're going to see basically a Johnny Holstaff type approach from both coaches, from both staffs. I mean, it's going to be very, very interesting how these two coaches, I think it's going to be a real chess game tomorrow, is how these two coaches plug in and plug out pitchers, how they kind of attack, go after different situations, stuff like that. So do they have enough pitching? That's going to be the main question. I think it's been really South Carolina's Achilles heel all season. I mean, Gamecocks have gone hot and cold in their lineup. Obviously, they've had guys step up in their lineup, and South Carolina's lineup's been extremely consistent. But the lack of pitching depth is really to point out for a lot of the series losses and a lot of the blown leads late in games. It's kind of funny. I really do. I feel kind of optimistic about tomorrow's game for whatever reason. I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't really know why. I don't know. South Carolina getting that win Saturday, getting in the SEC tournament. This is a team that never quits, never fights. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you how great South Carolina baseball has been this year because they haven't. It's been disappointing. Everyone would tell you that, from the fans to the players, the coaches, the administration, everyone. But I do feel strangely optimistic. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for tomorrow night's game, but I don't know. I like kind of almost like the vibe. South Carolina's playing loose attitude. They have nothing to lose. And I kind of like the guys they'll throw out there. I sort of like the matchup with LSU. I think South Carolina does have an opportunity to make some things happen against LSU, especially at the plate. Can the veterans step up for South Carolina? TJ Hopkins, I kind of consider Noah Campbell one, but Jacob Olsen, these are guys that when you get into tournament play, you get in these big-time situations, you need your dudes to step up. I mean, Jacob Olsen, TJ Hopkins, Chris Cullen, these dudes know if you lose, it's going to be your last game in Garnet and Black. Basically, every single game is your last game in Garnet and Black from here on out. How do you handle it? How do you approach it? What are you going to do to avoid that being your last game in a South Carolina uniform? South Carolina's veterans have got to step up for them to have an opportunity to make any type of run, and especially win tomorrow night's game against LSU. What I am really excited about, one of the reasons I'm optimistic, is Andrew Eister and Luke Berryhill. They have been absolutely fantastic. Andrew Eister over the weekend, 6 for 10, 2 homers, 5 RBIs. Luke Berryhill, 5 for 12, a homer and 4 RBIs. Two guys that aren't necessarily veterans, if you will, but guys that, have been in this lineup all year, are seeing the baseball extremely well. I've talked before repeatedly, I believe Andrew Eister is by far going to be the best returning Gamecocks hitter in their lineup. I think he's a dude that's got real potential. He's got real raw power, a guy that can really swing the bat and is getting hot at the right time for South Carolina. Can those guys keep it up? Because, again, LSU, a team, can definitely be hit around, but they've got a lot of capable arms, a lot of guys that have been there, done that, a lot of guys that were on the team last year that beat South Carolina. And I'm just interested to see, can those guys keep carrying their load, if you will, keep carrying the torch, put the team on their back, if you will. To me, the key player tomorrow, I was going to say Cam Tringali. I felt like that was too obvious. To me, the key players tomorrow for South Carolina, Danny Lloyd and Dylan Harley, because I'd be shocked if those two guys had not pitched. Those are the guys that have been mainly pitching in the Tuesday or Wednesday midweek games. Those guys are extremely fresh. We obviously know those guys both have really, really good stuff. I know they're freshmen, but at this point in the season, you're not a freshman anymore. You've pitched enough. These guys have been thrown to the fire. They've been thrown to the wolves. They've thrown a lot. I'm really, really excited. We're obviously excited for the futures for these guys, but can these guys step up and solidify from innings 4 to innings 8, innings 9, what have you? I'm very excited for the future of these guys, but last time out, Dylan Harley threw very, very well. Danny Lloyd has been, I think, fairly consistent this season as far as his approach or his outings. I think those two guys can be pivotal. Obviously, again, I feel good about what Cam Tringali is going to give South Carolina. Again, on a pitch count, he's only going to go 3 innings. Hopefully you can get 4 out of him. Just really depends on how efficient he can be, but it's really going to be a battle tomorrow night of who can strike early first, because both teams are going to be living and dying with their bullpens, and the sooner you can get to the bullpens and put that pressure on, the better it's going to be for that team. Overall prediction for the game tomorrow night, you know what? I'm feeling optimistic. I'm feeling some type of way. I don't know why. I've got a new energy. South Carolina's win on Saturday gave me a new energy. I'm going to pick the Gamecocks to win the game. I said they win a game 7-6. I think it'll be a really, really close game, obviously back and forth. I just think South Carolina will have just enough. And again, LSU, not a very good team when you score 6 or more runs on them. So I think Gamecocks find a way to pull out the W. Gamecocks will have to take on Mississippi State, the team they just took on over the past weekend, which would be a very, very tall order. I mean, let's face it, that's literally one of the best teams in the country. LSU, obviously a very good team, but not a team that's in the national seed conversations, a team that's definitely comfortably in the postseason. I'm not sure 100% if they'll host or not, but I think South Carolina, again, focusing on the game tomorrow night, I think Gamecocks have a really good opportunity. I say they get it done, 7-6 winners. South Carolina will advance on to the next round of the SEC tournament. And that's going to do it for me. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Obviously, I miss doing these Daily Crows. Hopefully, we have more to do because hopefully South Carolina is going to continue to go on a run in Hoover. But appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.